Many Magic the Gathering players ask the question, why is it worth it to buy the Phyrexian Praetors Complete Edition Secret Lair? Hasbro's newest Secret Lair is incredibly worth it. It contains cards that nearly every player, regardless of format, can likely find a home for. All of those cards are already highly valuable, extremely powerful, beloved by the community at large, and here are being offered in a special Magic the Gathering template that embraces deeply the world and unique style of Magic the Gathering, a veritable home run on all players. I will now demonstrate how this is so. Oh, but first, let's look at the big board. This Secret Lair is number 15 for the year, and as all of you remember, my prediction was that we'd hit a grand total of 52 Secret Lairs in 2021, which would be the equivalent of one a week. Since we're all the way in July and have only done 15 Secret Lairs, maybe I was wrong. Maybe Wizards of the Coast can demonstrate restraint, tact, and most importantly, self-respect. What is that noise?
No Secret Lair alert! No Secret Lair alert! No Secret Lair alert! No Secret Lair alert!
All right, we're up to 22 Secret Lairs for the year. Woo! That's not quite half of 52 that would be at the halfway point for July, but it's close. Some have suggested that Wizards of the Coast will end up releasing 51 or 50 Secret Lairs just to spite me. And to that I say, silly student, Wizards of the Coast doesn't care about my channel or feel it has any value to the game or the community. Anyway, let's talk about why this Secret Lair is absolutely worth it. Let's start right out with it. Phyrexian Praetors Complete Edition is overwhelmingly worth it to buy. It's one of every Phyrexian Praetor in special Phyrexian language templating. And whether you buy these in foil or non-foil, the value is through the roof. For $29.99, you get $121 worth of cards, or for $39.99, you get $212 worth. And look, all 5 of them in one Secret Lair instead of just one of them in a Secret Lair or 2. It can be done. This is why I was so angry about the Shockland Secret Lairs. An anger that far too many Magic the Gathering players told me I was being unreasonable in. In that Secret Lair, the Shocklands, whose cheapest versions cost an average of about $10 each, were instead sold in bundles of 3, meaning that you would have to buy 5, count them 5 bundles, in order to get a play set of all 10 Shocklands. A monetary transaction that would end up netting you a whopping 5 unnecessary duplicate lands. You had to buy 15 to get 10. The Shocklands, as I said then, and as I am emphasizing now, should have been sold into Secret Lairs of 5. The 5 enemy-colored ones and the 5 allied colors. But overwhelmingly, I was told that was too much value for a single Secret Lair to contain. An unreasonable request, that the idea of 5 Shocklands in one lair simply was asking for too much, and on, and well, now here we have all 5 Praetors, $121 of non-foil value and $212 of foil value, in an extremely desirable special treatment of Phyrexian language for the consistent and reasonable Secret Lair price of $29.99 and $39.99. Tell me again why the Secret Lair of fetch lands needed to cost just a little bit more than a Commander Arsenal? Oh, right, because it came in a big box. Well, bad news, Magic players, because starting with this Secret Lair Super Drop, Secret Lair packaging has been made smaller and more compact. This is incredibly reasonable, logical, and good for the environment, so I don't know what to tell you. Obviously, you're disappointed about it because you want the giant oversized box that can't even hold a cube. All 5 of these cards see play through multiple levels. They are super strong, super powerful, see everything from Commander to Modern play, and possibly will never be reprinted in Phyrexian language again. Though, who knows on that front. Nonetheless, this is everything a Secret Lair should be, and it's an A+. Though I am sorry for all the judges out there, but hey, you all already knew the multi-million-dollar corporation never really had your backs to begin with. Do not forget this secret lair. Do not forget what Wizards of the Coast can offer in terms of value in a secret lair. Do not buy 5 secret lairs when instead you should only be buying 2. Quite frankly, every one of you who bought all 5 Shockland secret lairs, you probably got taken for a ride. You overpaid by 3 secret lairs. Wizards of the Coast thanks you. It was a rough year last year, and all your extra money really helped them. No, wait. They made a landfall of record sales last year. Let's see how the remaining 7 secret lairs, and my God, is it 7 more? 7. Let's see how the remaining, I guess if you thought about it as like foil, non-foil, it's 14, but we'll just say 7 for the sake of this video. Let's see how the remaining 7 secret lairs compare to the Phyrexian Praetor secret lair. Spoiler alert, not that well, but also not that bad. Well, some of them, you'll see. First up is Saturday Morning D&D, a secret lair filled with throwback art to a short-lived cartoon that only elderly nerds such as myself remember and cherish.
Look out! Fear not, ranger, barbarian, magician, thief, cavalier, and acrobat.
Ah, that's the stuff. This secret lair, available in both foil and non-foil, contains Borderless, Commander's Sphere, Hero's Downfall, Impact Tremors, Primal Vigor, Unbreakable Formation, and Whir of Invention. Primal Vigor is the main card here, making the total value for the non-foil $41.82, with the value for the foil being not very available since Primal Vigor was never printed in foil. So this is a secret lair setup we've seen before. A handful of cards that see varying levels of play. I mean, Hero's Downfall and Commander's Sphere get run. Not so sure about Unbreakable Formation. And one super duper extremely desired reprint, in this case Primal Vigor. That $35 card that has no foil counterpart, by itself making both the non-foil and foil versions worth it if you were planning to buy a Primal Vigor. There's also a lot to be said about the art here. For this piece, artist Taylor Wadpole, in wanting to recapture the feel of the original show, apparently went so far as to recreate the process that they would have used to make the original animation cells, or at least as closely as he could. That means the backgrounds were painted with gouache on illustration board and rendered in a style to match the background paintings from the show. This involved using layers of acetate with ink lines on one side and thick layers of acrylic paint carefully applied to the back. The result is a nice flat look to the color, with no textures or brush strokes appearing on the front. This is an intensely challenging process in which you cannot fully see the image you are working on. Wow, I'm consistently amazed by how talented and attentive magic artists are. For those who love Dungeons & Dragons, love the Saturday morning cartoon show, this is a rare and loving tribute to it in and of itself. And I think because of that process, because of the property it's based on, that might straight up make it an A for certain collectors. However, speaking of worth of the cards themselves, if you needed a Primal Vigor, then it's a very good way to get one, as well as some nice additions, and I'd say a solid B financially based on that criteria. Next is a series of artist spotlights, both from inside and outside Magic's history, starting with special guest Fiona Staples. Cool. This is a great collection of cards. Dryad of the Elysian Grove, Metallic Mimic, Commander's famous Steve, who was hard to get in foil, Soulscar Mage, and Spell Queller. All of these cards see play, and the art is just as riveting and engaging to me as was the Saturday morning series. But the price is almost identical there as well. The difference being that the Saturday morning series, all the value was tied up in Primal Vigor, whereas here it's more evenly distributed between the cards, but I'm still going to say that this stays in the very good but not quite excellent territory of a B. Our next special guest is Jen Bartel, a collection that has one amazing card, but also one missing card, as it's only 4 instead of all the 5 that literally every other Secret Lairs save 1 in this 8-layer drop has. Here again we see all the value in Bloom Tender, whose lone foil printing means that the foil version is extremely high, and when we look at the prices of the other cards, we see that this really should have just been called Secret Lair Bloom Tender. While Mesa Enchantress and Archaeomancer do indeed have homes, their value is really minimal at best, and the inclusion of Meteor Golem is very puzzling. Is this used somewhere I'm not thinking of? It's a 10-cent card. And in this type of a collection, I can't help but note the lack of a 5th card. As it stands, the non-foil collection is worth only $1 or $2 more than it would cost to buy all of these individually, and that combined with that missing 5th card makes this not quite unacceptable, but also not quite satisfactory. C-? And yeah, that $325 only existing foil is a high number, but so too are things like the non-existing at all foil Primal Vigor. So for the foil of this drop, I'll stick again to that B. I feel it's a little disjointed with this layer. Going back to the classics, we have Artist Series Mark Poole, a famous Magic artist who drew many beloved cards from the early days of Alpha and forward. Here offers his take on famous iconic cards. From Birds of Paradise to Balance to Brainstorm, to the newly legal and modern Counterspell, Howling Mines, and Wasteland. So some of these cards are a reprinting of his originals, such as Birds of Paradise and Counterspell, and others like Wasteland are his new take. It's a neat little mishmash. As an elderly Magic player, I certainly appreciate bringing in Poole to do this with old cards. Balance doesn't really see that much play, and I think this falls artistically and financially more or less in the same category as the Saturday Morning cartoon collection. It hits that nostalgia itch, so that's cool. Getting a foil Counterspell, especially so with that original art. Yeah, this is very good, but it's not quite excellent. It's a B. Hey, there's nothing wrong with a B. I'm giving out a lot of Bs today, but there's nothing wrong with a B. B's a good grade. My GPA for my undergrad work was a B. Next up is a pretty straightforward one, Mother's Day 2021, which went on sale on Father's Day, and with any luck will arrive around Veterans Day, or at least by Christmas Day. And it's 4 copies of Mother of Runes. Now, in order to offer my grade and analysis on this Secret Lair, I need to bring in the final 2 for comparison. They are the Artist Series of Dan Frazier, offering his interpretation on both the allied and enemy Signets. So let's compare the Signets to the Mother of Runes layers. Both have extremely distinct and cool artwork that scratches different itches. The Mother of Runes art is super art, in other words borderless, and features 4 different artists, 2 of which are real-life mother and daughter, and the mother is Magic favorite, myself included, Rebecca Gay. Dan Frazier, the artist who, among many, many other iconic works of Magic art, illustrated the coveted Moxen, here goes in the opposite direction, offering classic Magic art on the old frame. Another similarity is that neither is really worth it. Financially anyway, at least not in the non-foil. Mother of Runes are only about $6 each, so a playset will cost you only $24, which is less than the cost of the layer. Signets fare far worse, as most are worth less than $1. On the foil front, Mother of Runes fares better, her small offering of previous foils being $40 each, or $160 for a playset means that $39.99 for 4 foils, though mismatched, can be a real major value to legacy players. But that's just it. Mother of Runes, which is played, of course, in some Commander decks, is really a legacy card, and a legacy card that only goes in a very specific type of deck. This Secret Lair is a playset of them, indicating it is more for only the legacy player, as a Commander player needs only 1 copy. This is an incredibly narrow segment of the player population. Legacy players, made even more narrow by the fact it's only being of interest to those legacy players who play a deck that needs Mother of Runes. With the Signets, though they only cost mere pennies themselves, they are played in any and every Commander deck with 2 or more colors. Many Commander decks running multiple Signets, such as just about every Jeskai Commander deck is probably running Boros Signet, Izzet Signet, Azurius, or at least 2 of those 3. In other words, They are ubiquitous, so much so that I view them as much more akin to basic lands than staples, whereas the Mother of Runes cards are clearly that, staples, a playset of staples. As a playset of staples, the Mother of Runes non-foil is a D, and the foil is, yep, you guessed it, a B. It's very good, not excellent. Especially since, as a foil, you probably couldn't play with it in a Legacy tournament anyway. Wizards really needs to fix their foil problem, but that's another video. As a more ubiquitous entry, more akin I would say to basic lands, the Signets become graded accordingly. After all, a Signet is just a few pennies to buy. So if you are buying these, it's more of as a skin for a non-expensive game piece. And as I have explained in detail prior, I consider that just shy of truly excellent at A-. Maybe you disagree with that assessment, my giving 5 cards worth $1.90 an A- and another 5 cards worth $24 a non-passing D. Many express disagreement with my saying 5 basic lands, such as the Bob Ross lands or Godzilla lands, is just an automatic A-. These layers are often hard to parse when it isn't a cut-and-dry collection of value. And while I explain why I make the evaluation that I have made, the grade that truly matters is your own. I will also point out that those Bob Ross basic lands were 10 in a drop, not 5, so maybe the Signets, though pennies they may be, should have been 10 to a drop as well. I think looking at the Signets, looking at the basic lands, looking at the shock lands, looking at the fetch lands, looking at the charity layers and playset layers, and 3 in this layer, 4 in this layer, 5 in this layer, 6 in this layer, 7 in this layer, more than anything, I'd like to see layers begin to strive to have some rhyme or reason to the number of cards they contain and how much it costs for those cards, but that, I feel, is another video. And as for this video, I hope very much it has been of some help to you. You can help me out by remembering to like, share with a friend, post a comment, and especially by hitting subscribe and maybe even ringing that bell. I mean, obviously, Tolarian Academy should be unbanned.
This is absolutely outrageous. What is this problem?
I don't.
But it's the perfect piece for my Urza deck.
I will literally fight you right now. At me on Twitter.
Guilty.